Hey, it's Nicole. I'm back again with positive impact for mind and body. And today I'm going to help you whittle your waistline no matter where you are. Isn't that exciting? So, there's a couple of things that we have to remember. Our minds are in our bodies, right? So, when we're looking at the waistline, we're looking at different ways of working it physically. But why did it get big to begin with, right? Maybe it's a little bit bigger than you want it to be. Your pants don't fit the same way, your shorts don't fit the same way. You want to be able to really feel confident in the abdominal wall. So one way of doing that is to first take a look at why it started to expand anyway. A lot of us will eat things that are inappropriate. We all know that, this is a stressful time. So we're reaching for foods that maybe are not the best for our waistline. White rice and flours and potatoes or chips, anything that has the potential of drawing water into the intestines is also going to affect your waistline. So I can tell if one of my clients has eaten something bad the night before, they immediately become inflamed. Inflammation is a real thing. It's not made up. It's this real biological process that happens when you eat the wrong foods. Now, that's not to say you should never eat a carbohydrate. It's just to be mindful that if 90% of your foods are carbohydrate based or driven, you are more than likely to gain weight in the abdominal wall. Now, there's a couple of reasons for this. When you crave those foods, you're actually craving a little bit of protection. There's fear going on. There's anxiety happening in the background of your life, and it's acting out as these food cravings. Now, you can do several things to feel more safe and secure. You can start meditating at night before you go to bed so you know you're going to have a deep, restful sleep, and then your body has that time to really burn calories effectively the next day. Or you can also work on, here we go. I want to say hello to everyone. Sorry. Hi, Raul. It says, hi, Carol. I'm Nicole. Nice try, though. Anyway, I am excited about working with people in their mind and body because it tells me so much about their personalities and who they are. So what I try to do is nail down why they're having anxiety. And a lot of times they don't even realize. I had one client who said that she never had any anxiety in her life. She lives a pretty good life. From 1 to 10, 1 being least anxious, 10 being most anxious. She felt like it was more of a 2 until we started digging a little deeper. We discussed her relationship with her husband. And there was a lot of fear and anxiety built into that relationship because they were trying to get things done, because the kids had to make it to soccer practice, and because they were having their Aunt Sarah over next Saturday. So there was a lot of built up anxiety in the background that she didn't even realize was acting on her abdominal wall and causing this stress eating. So what that means to me is that a lot of us, if you go to any mall anywhere, you're going to see people whose abdominals are excessively large, right? Their abdominal area is excessively large. It's extending beyond the rib cage, beyond the hips, and it's starting to bulge out. That's your first clue, people. If your abdominals aren't resting neatly and comfortably within your own rib cage, and no doubt about it, your body will accommodate you. The rib cage will expand the larger your waist gets, but you don't ever want to feel that pressure from the inside that you're needing to expand. So what you want to do is find out what is pushing your buttons. How is stress and fear affecting your mind and body? Okay. Then you want to go back and say, how is this undermining my self-confidence? How is this undermining my ability to use my will effectively in my own life? And start doing some journaling about that. That's definitely going to help. But then I want you to do some of these exercises that I have worked on for years with people with fantastic success. So the first thing I think I taught you a while back, maybe even 6 months ago now, was the active breathing technique. Do y'all remember that? Active breathing. So if you were to place your hands on your abdominals and you inhale, it's going to expand a little bit, But then I want you to exhale and actively pull the abdominals back to the spinal column, okay? That's really, really important. That does two things. You know what it does? And I have to laugh. I was watching just a YouTube channel earlier today, and I saw a commercial for, what was it called? Zoo poo. And it was all about how your intestines can get impacted with poop over time if you're not careful and cleaning it out regularly. This is true. But what I have found to be super helpful is when you start to really train the abdominals and get them nice and tight, that ceases to be an issue to begin with. You know, you have now muscular control over what's happening over your intestines, through your intestines. So you're going to use that active breathing technique. Yes? Yes, Nicole, I want to use the active breathing technique. So you're going to use the active breathing technique, and these are seated exercises that you could do at your desk, or if you're sitting at your dining room table for that matter. You can sit anywhere and do them, or you could do them at the gym, which better. But anyway, if you don't have time for the gym, you do have time for this because it's a quick workout. So you're going to practice the active breathing, inhaling into the abdominal wall and exhale. Inhale and exhale, pulling the abdominals back to the spine with every breath. Now, the first thing I want you to do is lean back slightly in your chair. Make sure there's room between you and the back of your chair. I have a backless stool, so that helps me. But you're going to lean back slightly. You're going to inhale, exhale, reach down to one side of the chair or the stool. Inhale back to center. Exhale, pull the abs back to the spine as you reach down and touch the side of the chair. So that's one exercise I like. The second one is you're still leaning back a little bit, okay? Putting a little bit of pressure. I'm not talking way back, because if you're basically sedentary and new to this, you want to try to keep your spine as upright as possible so you're not putting too much pressure or pain on the lower back. But you're going to lean back slightly, holding on to the back of the chair. And all I want you to do, if you're a beginner, is alternating lifting the knees, trying to hesitate in between and keep both toes off the floor as you're transitioning. But if you can't do that, keep one toe on the floor at all times, and just practice active breathing, pulling the abdominals back toward the spine as you do so. The last thing I love to do, which is just kind of like I want to say it's got potential for so much more. But what I love to do is prop myself up against the wall. My thighs are parallel to the floor. So you get what? You get a fantastic quadricep workout, right? Building strength into the quads. But in this position, you're going to do that active breathing. Inhale, keep your heels close by, right under the knees. Inhale, exhale, reach down. Inhale, exhale, pull the abs back as you reach down. Inhale, center, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and back to center. So you want to try to get 15 to 20 reps on each side, and 15 to 20 reps of those other exercises I showed you, twisting this way and leaning back. Those are 3 great exercises to do for abdominals in a seated position. Now, the last thing that I love doing, and I'd love for you to try to do, I notice a lot of women start to walk around with rounded shoulders and kind of this frumpiness. You ever get the frumpies? So take a step back and imagine yourself as like a model. And that everywhere you go, your shoulders are going to be rotated down and back, and you're going to be looking into people's eyes and smiling, actively breathing while you walk. Now, when you're doing this in the beginning, you may want to go for like a 15, 20 minute walk through a path in a park and just test it out on your own. But you want to walk with confidence, and you want to walk actively breathing. In the beginning, you're going to be a little out of breath because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. That takes a lot of strength, contracting the abdominals back toward the spine. If you've spent several months, maybe now a year or so, without really doing any abdominal work, it's going to take a little time getting used to. But the more you do it, I swear to you, and I promise, your confidence level will skyrocket. And every time you do it, you're reaffirming in your own body mind, I know that I am worthy of this beautiful body, this narrow waist. And every single day, I'm going to reaffirm that to myself. So it's not just, we're working on several layers, right? So it's not just a physical layer. The first one we're going to work on is figuring out why we're anxious and have a, basis of fear happening in the background of our lives if we're not really conscious of it. The second thing that we're going to do is we're going to start to journal about our feelings and find ways of feeling less and less anxious. And maybe that has to do with some delegating in your life. If you're a mom, get the kids to do the dishes and mop the floor. You know what I mean? Then you're going to do some of these active breathing exercises that I just showed you. And you're going to polish off the entire look with a nice walk for 15 to 20 minutes, actively exhaling and breathing and not allowing the abdominals to sag forward. The biggest piece of this, I think, though, is that especially for women, and I thank Raul for joining us, but especially for women, we tend to forget that we're beautiful. We forget that we were hot at one time, especially if you've had children. We have a lot of positive associations with a wider girth, let's just say. Children, most of us anyway, maybe some aren't as thrilled, but when I got pregnant, I was thrilled. I was so excited. I couldn't wait to get fat. I couldn't wait. But there's also a lot of positive feelings and emotions built into, food and eating with people you love and sharing a good meal. And we want it to last forever. So we eat and we eat and we eat, but it's not great for our waistlines. There are other positive things that are associated with a wider waistline. But what I will say is if we can reorganize our thoughts and our minds about how we want to represent ourselves, not just to people in general, our kids, our families, to be considered someone who's fit and healthy has to come first, because that's the example we're setting for our family, our friends. So keeping that in mind, that you're not just doing it for yourself, it is for you. You want to increase your self-confidence and your willpower and your sense of personal self-esteem. But you also want to be able to share that joy of experiencing those things with those you love. And that is that selfless piece of it. I do a lot of work with people and their minds and emotions and getting to the I want to say the origination of why people gain weight, why people get fat in different areas of their bodies or gain more fat weight in different areas of their bodies. And I will say that for women, it's a real, I want to say, dichotomy, right? Because there's so much associated with being overweight that's good, but the reality is it starts to undermine your self-confidence if it's not for the right purposes. And then I'm also thinking on a different level entirely, how we, each human that's alive today, we carry with us up to 7 generations of emotional, mental, physical history. So if your great-grandmother really became overweight after age 50, then that's kind of setting up in the back of your mind as a subconscious belief that that's who you will end up being when you're past 50. I've done a lot of study and research about these things, and what I find is that if I call it out, if I speak to you like this, and I make you aware of it, you're less likely to let that happen. The other piece of this is I want to empower you. I want you to feel great about you in your skin right now. And that's almost more important than any guest I have on or any concept or theory that they have. I want you to feel phenomenal. So every single time I come here, I'm going to give something to you that I think you will value and you will love and feel empowered by it. So if we can go through our family history and recognize that we are different, we are simply different. We have different genetics now than that person had when they got overweight or really became obese. We're different because we've called it out, the truth on it, that we choose not to go that path. And we're going to do things like we just did a few minutes ago. Some of the exercises, the active breathing, the affirmations, the journaling, and the deep digging, the deep dive to figure out what is pushing our buttons to begin with, what's making us bloat to begin with. That will help disrupt the pattern of the subconscious mind acting in the body and help you reset some new beliefs and understanding about who you are in your body. Sound good? Fair? I am excited about this new season. I'll repeat a couple of the guests that I'll be interviewing in the future. Market Your Genius with Nikki Nash is coming up October 13th. I think Tom Laidlaw might be on next week if I could get him. And I also have a really special personal trainer friend of mine who's very well known for their training style. And we will have a lot of fun coming up. More exercises, more tips and ideas about mind and body coming soon. In any case, enjoy and love your mind and body. I have always got an open door policy when it comes to answering any questions you may have. If you want to contact me on mindbodymastery.org, that's mindbodymastery.org. You can do that. You can also contact me through social media at Nicole's MBM on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Feel free to give me a call even if you just have a question or just need a consultation, guidance about where you want to go, what you want to do. If you want to go to a gym, if you want to lose weight, if you want to get fit, or if you need a mind-body consultation, which is very different, I will say, than anything that I have ever experienced before in my life as a personal trainer or a psychic. But I am your psychic trainer. Feel free to give me a call, 646-739-7879, and I will talk to you soon. Have a fantastic day and enjoy and love your mind and body.